Monday. I'm in the cafeteria. I finished rounding on all my patients this morning. I rounded by myself, and then I found the PA on our team, and then I rounded again with her. So now I have a little break. I came to the cafeteria to get my favorite soup and get a little bit of studying done. I don't know what I want to do the rest of the day because there was one surgery that I was thinking about joining, but it already started. And the next surgery, that's the same exact procedure, is going to start at 3. So this is where I have to decide on the balance of, do I try to fit in as many surgeries as I can this week, but I've already seen this procedure, or do I try to save my time and not spend 3 hours just lollygagging in the hospital and just go home and study there and like rest and do other things? 7 p.m. I'm headed out of here. Pretty good day for a Monday. I did a lot of rounding this morning, had a decent enough break in the middle where I could get a little lunch, study, and then went back for surgery. I watched lymphedema bilateral leg liposuction today. I have already seen one of these before. So there's multiple parts to the lymphedema liposuction that they do. Usually they will liposuction one side, so like the anterior or the posterior, then the other side. And then for a third operation, they will actually do the skin tightening. Maybe liposuction like another time, but yeah, skin tightening is the third one. So I thought this was going to be the third one, so I would get to do a little bit more and get a little bit more suture practice. But this was actually the very first one, so I misread the schedule, but that's okay because it was still a lot of fun. I really like the plastic surgery team here. They're just fun people to hang out with in the OR. I got some green tea and some snacks from the lounge, and I'm gonna eat this on my way to the gym, work out, finish studying, and then come back tomorrow. Today was clinic day, and the nice thing is it's 5:30 and I'm going to home. I have 2 meetings today. One meeting is my last surgery rotation meeting where we just go over cases, and another one later which is just a lecture series that's elective and that I want to listen into. And I'm so tired, I feel like I'm gonna fall asleep on my way home. So if I can get all my studying done within the next couple of hours, have my 2 meetings, and then go to bed right after, that would literally be the most ideal thing. What are some interesting things I learned in clinic today? I learned a lot today, and I feel like that's the nice thing about clinic is you see so many patients in one day that are like potentially gonna go for surgery, have some new problem, or they're post-op patients. So it's just casting a wide net and catching a lot of things that I don't have a lot of experience of, or that I've like never heard of before, I've never seen before. But one of the cool things I saw today is, and there's like a backstory. I finished the entire UWorld question bank for the surgery rotation, and I started working through the TrueLearn one, which is like the other question bank that I have, and nowhere in UWorld did I see any mention of a Richter hernia or an amnion hernia. And the first TrueLearn like 10 set that I did, those hernias came up, and I was like, okay, what are these? I've never seen these. They are probably like the rarest types of hernia ever if UWorld chose not to mention them. And today I get a patient, and she was just recently diagnosed with an amnion hernia that they found on CT. And I don't even know if I'm pronouncing correctly, but an amnion hernia is when your appendix herniates through. And so from that you can get appendicitis. I don't think it's one of those things that you have to remove right away just because it's the appendix that herniated through, but you can get appendicitis and then eventually might need an appendectomy, and with that you would get your hernia repaired as well. The other thing that I learned is a nerve that's commonly injured or caught during an inguinal hernia repair is your ilioinguinal nerve. And so what you might get is like paresthesias or loss of sensation in your inguinal like ligament over that area, or the medial side of your inner thigh. What you do is you give gabapentin or something like that to see if that helps with the nerve pain. And then eventually, if that doesn't help, the other thing that you could try, apart from I think like nerve injections to kind of like dull the nerve sensation in that area, is apparently eventually you might have to remove the mesh, because what happens is the mesh will catch parts of that nerve, and that's why you get the symptoms. So you will go in surgically again and remove the mesh and hope that that takes away that pain. Yeah, I learned a lot of new interesting things today, and now I get to go home.
Dude gets stabbed in the neck, but his GCS is 15.
It is so nice to get sleep. I feel like I'm a new person today. I'm lunch meeting today because I ran out of clean scrub caps. Oh my gosh, my voice. I finally woke up not dead this morning. I think I got 7 hours of sleep and I feel rested. Let's hope that it's for something because I want to get into a spine surgery today and I haven't been to one yet. And I heard that they're hard to get into because they're very particular with who's in the OR. So let's hope that I woke up early for something and that they let me watch the surgery. Another day done and I'm out early. It's not even 3 o'clock yet. I ended up getting into that spine surgery that I really wanted to see. I did not get to scrub in, which is okay. Usually like the first time that I meet the surgeon, I am definitely okay with just standing on the side of the room and observing because I feel like they don't know me, so they're like letting a stranger into their OR space, so I don't expect to be scrubbed in. And I heard that in general it's difficult to scrub in on spine cases and stuff like that. I assume it's because of how delicate the procedure in the area is, so they prefer not to have med students breathing down their necks, especially like third-year medical students. I assume, I don't know. It's also maybe just this hospital. But the surgeon was really nice and really great. And the other reason that I wanted to go into the spine surgery was because the thoracic surgeon that I usually follow around this hospital was also doing this case, so it was thoracic and ortho together, which I thought was really cool. I really enjoy the surgeries where there's two different specialties mixed and there's two different attendings working on something. And so thoracic opened the area and moved everything out of the way. And it was interesting because I thought it was going to be like a 4-inch incision, and this is also going off of the YouTube videos that I watched for what a discectomy procedure is like. But they actually went in from the side, so it was like a lateral, anterior lateral approach with a pretty big incision, and that was all thoracic. And then ortho took over and actually went in and like broke up the discs, took out pieces of the discs, and then inserted this graft, which I don't know exactly what it was made of, but the thing that they explained to me is that it's the femur head that gets grinded up into this like really fine tissue or like fibrous material. They use that to regenerate the disc. It gets packed into a different kind of like maybe plastic, maybe metal material, and then all of that gets inserted back into where the disc was. I don't have all the details on the procedure because usually I'll watch a YouTube video before I go in to familiarize myself, and then all the extra gaps and information get filled in by the attendings and the PAs and the people in the room that then kind of explain the procedure as they go. But they didn't do a lot of explaining to me during this procedure because I think they were really focused, and from what I understood, this was a new kind of procedure for the hospital, which I didn't realize I was walking into because every person that was there that I tried to ask a question about the case in the beginning told me that they've never done this before. But it was really cool. I'm really glad I got to go. Also, the other thing that I really love and that I've already mentioned before, when people love their specialty, when doctors love their specialty, they are just so happy, and it's such a good vibe in the ER. I talked to the ortho doctor, the spine surgeon, a little bit afterwards, and he was like, how do you like it? Like, what do you think? And I said it was really cool, and he was like, okay, sounds like we might have a future spine surgeon in the room. I told him that I wanted to do cardiothoracic, and he was like, everybody wants to do cardiothoracic. This is what's cool. Like, it's fun when they try to like win you over on their side because they love it so much that they like want more people to go into what they love. And also, this is like such a long conversation, but the other thing that I thought was really interesting is there's a lot of people that I talk to when I tell them that I want to go into cardiac surgery. They tell me that they also at some point thought that they wanted to go into cardiac surgery, I guess because it's like seems so grand and so like exciting. I guess a lot of people when they enter the medical field or like go into medical school think, yeah, I want to be a cardiac surgeon, and then they change their minds. At least that's what I'm getting, because every surgeon so far, for the most part, that I've said that I wanted to go to cardiac surgery told me that that's what they considered, and then they found something else that they really loved. Like, it's always cardiothoracic surgery that I hear people say they started off wanting to go into. Imagine that's going to be me. Like, I say it and then I put it out into the world, and that's actually going to be my future. Like, I'm going to change my mind. But so far, there's a lot of interesting specialties and a lot of interesting procedures, but nothing has come close. And I actually really miss seeing cardiac surgeries, and my hospital doesn't have them. So unfortunately, I haven't been able to see any, but I miss it. So I feel like that's another sign to know that that's the specialty for me. And the last thing that I did today, because this is my last week, there were a couple patients that I wanted to make sure and see. My exam's on Friday, my surgery comat or shelf. I don't know if I'm going in tomorrow yet. I thought maybe we would get a full study day, but I might come in. But I wanted to check in. There's 3 patients that I've been rounding on that were my, 2 of them were my post-op patients. One of them was a small bowel obstruction that was potentially needed surgery, but ended up being fine with just an NG tube. That patient went home today, so it was really nice to say bye after I saw her for a couple days. And then my other 2 patients are going home soon, but they're gaining their strength and appetite and just like slowly recovering, so I've been visiting them. It's so bittersweet. Like, it's so nice to see them, but it made me so sad at the same time, because like, they're doing better, but they're also not doing too great. I wish they were doing a lot better and a lot faster recovery wise than they were. Rounding is so special, and I think I lost sight of it in the beginning, and I was reminded about it by another student that was here, and the patients too. Like, you forget that, like, rounding just becomes like another thing that you have to like check off, but to them, like, they see another familiar face, they see somebody that cares for them, they get to have a conversation. It's really nice. Like, sometimes they'll just tell you some random story or something interesting that they thought of, and to them that means so much more than you know. And that's what they remind me of. And yeah, so that was very nice. That was a really nice way to end the day. I'm starting to really feel burnt out, and I feel guilty saying that because I had such a good time on surgery, and this is what I want to do as far as I know with my life. So it feels weird to say that I feel burnt out from it, but at the same time I think I'm just burnt out in general, because this is week 18 that we're now finishing, and I think I'm just ready for a vacation. And I think I'm also just tired of studying. I think it's like the Anki and the questions that are mostly burning me out. I started a new TrueLearn 20 set today, and I accidentally made it in 20 set. I was only gonna do 10, but I clicked the wrong thing. And so now I'm having such a hard time of getting through this. Looking to elevate your home workout routine without sacrificing convenience and space? The Yesoul T1 Treadmill offers the perfect blend of functionality and entertainment to make every workout session engaging and efficient. The Yesoul T1 Treadmill is built to make a home workout straightforward and accessible. Whether you're up for a quick run or want to stream your favorite content, its easy plug-and-play multimedia casting connects you directly to platforms like YouTube or YouTube TV. Catch up on news, movies, sports, race highlights, or even study while you walk or run. The T1 also pairs seamlessly with Yesoul Fitness, KinoMap, and Zwift, offering interactive options for running, yoga, and strength workouts. Its adjustable screen turns to either side, letting you transition easily to strength exercises beside the treadmill, so you combine cardio and strength into a single session. With premium features at a competitive price, the T1 is a smart choice for any small space. Its flexible, foldable design allows for easy storage in a corner. Check out Yesoul's treadmills, bikes, rowing machines through the link and use the provided code for a $100 Black Friday coupon. Find all the relevant information in the description box below. Enjoy fun cardio with Yesoul. My surgery shelf muscle in a minute. Let's hope it goes as well as the IM one. And this is who I have to deal with while I take my exam. A very rambunctious kitty. Done with the surgery comat. I heard that It is known to be the hardest, if not one of the harder comats, and it definitely felt hard. And it felt harder the IM comat, which I'm surprised about. I really thought IM was going to be more difficult. So here's to hoping that I did well and that I at least passed. Good morning. Welcome back to our regularly scheduled programming. Today marks the first day of my elective. For the first 2 weeks of my elective, I'm going to be doing anesthesia. I didn't think I was going to do anything non-surgical during my elective, but I watched anesthesia do their thing for a little bit, and I realized that it's a lot more interesting than I had thought it was originally, so I want to learn some of the more specifics about it. And then I talked to a lot of surgeons who told me that spending some time with anesthesia is actually a great idea. They're in the same procedure as you are, and so it's important to know what's going on there and what they're doing. Watched 2 cases and put in a G-tube in today. Waiting for the next surgeries to start, for the patient to get wheeled into the room. And meanwhile, I'm trying to do some Anki on my phone, but I'm very tired, very sleepy, and unmotivated. This is also the last surgery, so after this I get to go home. So I'm excited. 4 o'clock, I'm done for the day. It was a really nice day today. I had a really wonderful, relaxed day with anesthesia today. I feel like I came out of today with so many new impressions and thoughts and feelings. First thing I'm going to say is, you know how every specialty has that stereotype of what kind of people they attract? I don't know what the stereotype exactly is about anesthesia, but I feel like they were the sweetest, warmest, most welcoming people. They took me in with no ego, they knew who I was, and they immediately started trying to teach me stuff, engage in conversation. And I also had very pleasant conversations with every anesthesiologist and CRNA that I saw today, just sitting behind the curtain and talking about current life events or what their path into this career was like, and just general things. The second thing that I really liked about today is, up until now, I had yet to meet and spend time with an attending in the OR. All the surgeons that I've shadowed, all the surgeons that I've been around during my rotation, and even the anesthesiologists have all been males. And so it was really nice today that the two anesthesiologists that I was with today were females. And it was really nice just to get a female perspective on being in medical school, going into residency, when are you thinking of starting a family, how do you manage all of that. That was also a really nice part of today that left me with a lot of new thoughts and ideas of how I want the near future to look. And I mentioned this before, I got to put an NG tube in, but I put it orogastrically because the patient was already intubated. So I guess that's the standard process, or also easier to just go through the mouth as well. So I did that, and then I put the thermometer, I forgot the exact name for what it's called, in the nose. So I did the little things today, and I observed a lot today, and I really learned a lot about medications and maintenance and all of that today. According to my attending, the 3 things that I need to take out procedurally out of these next 2 weeks on my anesthesia rotation is, I need to know how to properly ventilate or bag somebody with the right seal and the right tempo and all of that. 2 is I need to be able to place an LMA, and 3 is I need to be able to intubate somebody. Oh, and the other thing that I was going to say that I thought was just funny is, at my hospital, ortho surgeries were known to be the ones that were a little bit harder to get into as a student, and I didn't watch any OB surgeries because I figured that eventually I was going to get to watch them on OB, and so I didn't really watch either one of those during my 6-week surgery rotation. Today, because I was following the anesthesiology team, I got the opportunity to go into both. So I watched a bilateral salpingo oophorectomy for the first time today, and then I also watched 2 knee arthroscopies also for the first time today. Put in 2 LMAs already today. Doing well. And I was allowed to go study while the procedure's going, and then I'm gonna come back, and then I'm gonna help extubate and bring the patient back and all that. I'm done for the day, early day. It's not even 2 p.m. They are just so nice to me. They told me that if I felt like I needed time to study, that it was okay for me to go home, and I do feel like I need time to study. The anesthesia team here, the whole team, are just such nice people. I had a really good day. Put in 2 LMAs today, and then I also worked through extubating the patients at the end. And there's so many steps. Like I say, I put an LMA, but there's so many steps that you have to like watch the vitals, put the mask, oxygenate, you know? I don't know if surgery is just a lot more, something that I'm used to more so, but anesthesia is so completely new to me that surgery I felt more so at home, and I kind of like understood what step would follow the first step. But in anesthesia, I feel like there's so much you have to keep in your head all at the same time. Like it is step by step, but there's like 5 steps after the 5 steps after the 5 steps. It just feels like there's a lot to keep track of that I'm not doing as well as I did in surgery. But I think that is because I'm just not familiar with the anesthesia world as much. Also, it was really fun to get to do a lot of these little things, even though they're like very small things, like holding a mask over a patient's face and like bagging and making sure that you're bagging correctly and that your respiratory rate is correct. Little things, but still very exciting things. But at the same time, like I'm not getting as much excitement as I did on my surgery rotation. Like my surgery rotation, I just felt like I was on a high every single day with like even the smallest things that I got to do in surgery. Here it's exciting, but it's not the same. But I don't want to sound ungrateful because the team here is so great and I am enjoying my days here. Hello, it has been a long week. I had such an emotionally exhausting day today. For whatever reason, I think anesthesia, as of right now, still because it's new, drains me a little more than surgery did, especially by the end of the rotation. But today I got to intubate for the first time, and not only just that, but I intubated 3 different people. I just want to say I'm so grateful. I always say this, but I'm just so grateful to the team and the preceptor that I had today because he made me feel so comfortable. He taught me so well. He was so patient with me. Obviously, everything was under supervision. He was there the entire time, like literally right next to me. And he was just so amazing. And I got to intubate pretty difficult patients today. The first person I got, we talked about all the different things to look out for, whether an intubation is going to be difficult or not. First of all, how big the patient is in general. Are they obese? Then you look at the neck size. Do they have a lot of tissue around that could compress the airway? Obviously, you have them open your mouth. You look at their mouth. You make sure everything's midline. You do the assessment where you check how much of the mouth you can see when it's open. So whether it's hard palate, part of the uvula, tip of the uvula, and then the uvula and the tonsil, so basically like the entire mouth, and then tongue size, all of those things you assess. And then the very first patient that we had, he basically checked off a lot of the boxes for difficulty, but my preceptor was like, listen, you've already ventilated really well, like you know the steps, you've put in LMAs, you are ready to do the intubation, so if you feel confident, then just go for it. We'll go for it, and like I'll be right here. And that person's intubation, I think, was actually the easiest one for the day, funny enough. And it was such a rush. It was so exciting. First of all, just like being able to put the glyphoscope in, seeing the vocal cords, then being able to get the tube through, everything just falling into place. Very exciting, so happy. And the cases were pretty short, so it wasn't the type of case where you had a lot of work to do as anesthesia in the beginning and then you got like 3 hours to kind of cruise control and just monitor the vitals, give a little bit more medication type thing. All the surgeries were general surgeries, so it was like a necrotic flap fixture, a cholecystectomy, robotic inguinal repair, so quick cases to where as anesthesia, we put in a lot of work in the beginning and then didn't really have that much of like the cruise control time. And then it was time to taper everything down, get ready to extubate and all that stuff. Yeah, I had an exhausting, packed day, but I'm very happy. I feel like as a med student, this is probably the pinnacle of what you get to do in your anesthesia rotation, is to be able to intubate. And I'm so happy that I got to do it so many times today. I genuinely just love this hospital so much and all the people there. I've had the best experience so far. And now I have a meeting at 6 o'clock and I'm so tired. I feel like I'm going to crash after that. Oh, and also to mention all the ups and downs, I got my COMET score back today for surgery, and I did worse than I did on IM, which is disappointing because IM is something I'm not interested in. Surgery is obviously my #1 interest, so it's just disappointing to do worse. I guess it's just disappointing in general to not do that well. Kind of sad, but I did feel like the surgery comat was hard and harder than the IM comat, so I did expect to go down. And I hope you guys have a good weekend. Enjoy, rest. I know that's exactly what I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna try to get as much sleep and rest as I can.